I've always considered Dragon Ball Super one of my favorite, Dragon Ball Z as a whole, as one of my favorite animes of all time. I still enjoy them to this very day. So, today I wanted to kind of go over something that I said that I was actually going to talk about in the stream when I played Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and I actually gonna make the video right now. Is why I think people should give Dragon Ball Super a chance. If anybody has not watched the animated series, I'd kindly recommend giving it a go for those who have never really decided to give it a chance or not. I think it's quite good, honestly. I personally enjoyed most of the sagas outside of the first two, because the first two are basically animated versions of the two movies, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods and Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of F. Sure, they were not called Super, they were called Z, but they are basically still technically a part of the Dragon Ball Super timeline. They're still a part of the Dragon Ball Super timeline. So there's that, I suppose, and I apologize for the burping. But anyway, why should you guys give this a chance? Well, I'm not going to go over every single saga. I kind of want to watch the entire series over again, because I kind of want to revisit it again. Like, if you go onto my channel and you go onto my playlists, you would have noticed that I actually used to review the show. This was like pretty deep into the Tournament of Power when I kind of started doing the reviews. And my reviews were not very good, and I will be honest with you guys, they were not good at all. They just weren't very good. The problem is that I was watching the Japanese dub at the time, because at the time it was still new. At the time Dragon Ball Super was still brand new, and I was just reviewing the episodes in the Japanese dub. So, that made it a bit more tougher. And I've kind of become a bit more knowledgeable with Dragon Ball Super since. So, I could probably definitely explain some of the details a lot better than I used to. Those videos were so long ago. It's kind of embarrassing watching those again. But that's not one of the reasons why you should watch it. But that's giving me an excuse to watch it again. That's me having an excuse to watch it again, because I feel that way. So I might just watch the whole show again in its entirety. I might just watch the movie versions if I just feel like, watching Battle of Gods and Resurrection of F again. But there are a few changes in the animated versions of Battle of Gods and Resurrection of F. One of the big changes in Battle of Gods is that in the movie version, they're at Bulma's house when they're celebrating Bulma's party, but in the anime version, they're on a boat cruise celebrating Bulma's party. That's one of the changes made. That's one of the changes they made. And they also have... And, that's mostly it when it comes... Other than just building up to Beerus's eventual arrival, which obviously that was completely different. One other new thing I think was kind of interesting is that Goku and Krillin now have regular jobs. They now have regular jobs. Like, Goku's now a farmer. He's now a farmer. And Krillin is now a police officer, which I find quite hilarious. Those two doing daily chores. them doing daily jobs, which I thought was kind of funny which I thought was kind of funny at the time. But yeah, those are kind of the bit of the changes made, and Resurrection of F have a few changes. In the movie version, Goten and Trunks don't get involved at the battle with Frieza, but in the animated version, they do get involved. In the animated version, Captain Ginyu returns. Yes, Captain Ginyu, he made his comeback. Some of you may be thinking, wait, I thought he died. Well, he was still in that frog body. He was still in that little frog. That was still on Earth, I guess. So Ginyu comes back just for a brief period. Not very long. He's only just there for a short period. And there are a couple of other changes they made as well. One of the other changes they made was Taguma, one of the new minions. In the movie version, he gets killed off pretty quickly because he makes a stupid suggestion to Frieza, which gets him killed. But in the anime version, that doesn't happen. The little Sorbet, the blue guy, I actually remembered his name. I couldn't remember his name last time I was trying to think of this. But Sorbet, he tells Frieza that Taguma is just as strong as Zarbon and Dodoria. He'll be a better minion than Zarbon and Dodoria ever were. So in the animated version, he stays alive. He stays alive and he trains with Frieza. But in the movie, he dies because Taguma was there. He was there just to be the excuse to bring back Ginyu, so that way Ginyu can just change into his body. That's the reason why they kept Taguma around. So in that way Ginyu can do his little body switch thing on him. Because in the movie version, Ginyu wasn't there, so they had no reason to keep him there. So that's really the only big changes. The things I do enjoy about it is that I love the Universe 6 tournament stuff. Like, they introduce a lot of new characters, and one of the big things they reveal is that Universe 6 and Universe 7 are basically the same universe, but they have small changes. And that's one of the things I really like about it, because one thing I really like is that Universe 6 have Saiyans, just like Universe 7 do. Universe 6 have their own Frieza, just like Universe 7 does. And one of the interesting things about Universe 6 is they have a Robot Man, Megetta, they have a Winnie the Pooh look-alike, and they have the Assassin Hit. Now, these three characters could exist, these kinds of characters could exist in Universe 7, and in the Universe 6 tournament, the Universe 6 gods actually tell the Supreme Kai that the Metal Man, which is Megetta, he says they do exist in Universe 7. Does the Winnie the Pooh look-alike? I think his name is Bolgamo. Yeah, his name is Bolgamo. Does he exist in Universe 7? I don't know. Does Universe 7 have an assassin like Hit? I don't know. That's what makes it interesting. Because Universe 6 and Universe 7 are basically the same universe. But there's obviously no Goku and Vegeta in Universe 6. Their versions of Goku and Vegeta is Kaba and Caulifla and Kale, basically. They're basically their main Saiyans from Universe 6. So I like some of the new characters. I like that they brought back Android 17 for the Tournament of Power. I like they brought back Android 17 again. I always thought bringing him back was a great move. The Goku Black storyline is great. I really enjoyed that. I think that's a really good storyline for people to really enjoy. There's obviously filler. They've obviously got to have some filler in there. They've obviously got to have some filler in there because Dragon Ball Z had a lot of that. Dragon Ball Z had a lot of filler, so Dragon Ball Super has to have filler as well. Didn't really care for the filler, to be completely honest, but I get why they're there. I get why they're there. It's all part of the course. Every anime's got to have some filler to pass the time, to draw out some episodes. Dragon Ball Super has a total of 132 episodes. It didn't run very long, and I am excited that they could be relaunching the series again. I do remember hearing stories that they do plan to relaunch the series again, and I hope they do, personally. I hope they do relaunch the series again, so then that way, they can continue on from what they were doing. Personally, for those who want to get into Dragon Ball Super, I just recommend just start watching from Universe 6 and then watch onwards all the way to the Tournament of Power. If you don't care about the filler stuff, you can just skip over that. You can just skip over the filler stuff if you don't really care about it. And I don't blame you, and I don't blame you if you do that, because I would do that too. I always skip over the filler in Dragon Ball Z because I don't really care about it. So yeah, I won't go into full details about every single saga. I just like giving you guys a little bit of snippets and teasers. Obviously after the Goku Black one, which is about future Trunks, you got the Tournament of Power, which they give you Caulifla, Kale, Jiren, Toppo, a lot of brand new characters, and all that stuff. And the Tournament of Power is definitely one of the better ones. You actually can watch the Tournament of Power in full on YouTube. Someone did post it on YouTube, so you actually can find it on YouTube in its entirety. If you really want to watch the Tournament of Power, you can just find it on YouTube. I actually have, and I think it's a good, and I think that's pretty good. They cut out a lot of the talky parts and just more the fight scenes. So yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, I find that pretty good. But overall, guys, I do think Dragon Ball Super does deserve some credit that it deserves for being a decent anime. People mainly hate it because they think the movies ruined Broly, because there was a Super movie that reintroduced Broly, and people didn't like the new version of Broly because they thought because people liked, the Z version was better. The one from the movies in Z was the better version of Broly. I personally disagree. I didn't really like that Broly. I like the Super one better. They actually give him character and meaning, not just him being all like a brain-dead monster that's just like screaming Kakarot all the damn time. I'm just different. I'm just different. You don't have to. The thing I don't like is that you don't have to hate one and like the other. You can like both. You can like both. I personally like the Super one over the Z one more, but you don't have to dislike one over the other. You can just enjoy both versions. I think being banished to another planet is better than just hating someone because they keep you up all night. That's just my personal opinion. And as for the new movie I recently watched, the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, that was pretty good. If you guys haven't seen my review on that, you can definitely look for it in the chat. You can definitely look for it in the channel somewhere. But overall, I do plan to once again review this series again, because I think it deserves it. I think I deserve to do the series over and maybe do the whole series in its entirety. I'm obviously not going to go episode by episode, by the way, before you guys think I'm going to be reviewing every single episode. No, I ain't doing that. I am just going to be reviewing the entire show in its entirety. So, for example, Battle of God Saga, Golden Frieza Saga, Universe 6 Saga, Goku Black Saga, then Tournament of Power Saga. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be going saga by saga, and I'll be giving my thoughts on every single saga. Same thing with Dragon Ball Z. I'll revisit Dragon Ball Z, and I'll talk about all the Dragon Ball Z sagas. Which one was my favorite, which ones that I dislike. I don't know, I just think it would be fun. I just think it'd be fun that way. I think it'd be very entertaining. I think you guys would really enjoy it. And I think it'd be a good way to kind of interact with different people. Share my different stance on things. So, I hope you guys give Super a try if you haven't watched it yet. Especially for people that like Dragon Ball, you should give it a watch. If you've never watched it before, you should definitely give it a watch. Some of you may be wondering, well, what about GT? Would you review GT? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of GT, to be completely honest. I think Baby Vegeta and Omega Shenron was the only good thing about GT. I personally, myself, wasn't the biggest fan of GT. And I never watched the original Dragon Ball when Goku was a kid. I tried. I just wasn't really into it. I know, shoot me. Because a lot of people say, like, watching the original when Goku was a kid was really best more experience. I don't know. I just never really liked the original Dragon Ball. If I grew up watching it, I definitely would have enjoyed it more. But I more grew up in the Dragon Ball Z era. So, yeah, you can't blame me, really. You can't really blame me, really. But either way, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up. Give me your thoughts and opinions down below on your thoughts and opinions on Dragon Ball Super if you have seen it, or if you haven't seen it, take this video as an advisement to give it a watch. And other than that, I will see you all on the other side.